Welcome back to Call Me By Your Game, the podcast where I, your host Connor McCabe, bring on a guest to hear from them about a meaningful or memorable video game from a particular moment in their life. This is a podcast about what makes video games special to different people. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started in our main event today is that anything that my guest or I plug on the show, you'll be able to find in a link wherever the show notes are, wherever you're listening. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll just need to scroll down. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, click the episode specific. You might need to go and click go to episode and you'll find a link, whether it's to someone's Instagram, Blue Sky, another podcast, who's to say. Any links will be found there. And most importantly, you should check out our Patreon. That's over at patreon.com/super NPC Radio. And that's a place where you can support us at a free tier or at a paid tier. And the higher you go, the more stuff you get as far as bonus video game podcast content. So if you want to just hop in the Discord and have fun conversations with some nice like-minded people, join at the free tier and above. If you want to hear our current Games Club series, that's at the $5 tier. And if you want even more bonuses, there's stuff at the $10 tier where we've got, I think, 3 bonus episodes a month going up right now, including the Call Me By Your Game co-op series where I, usually me, maybe someone else on this podcast has hosted an episode like that before, have people on to discuss a game in more of an overview style format where it's a panel of people rather than these cute one-on-one interviews that I normally do. You can find a link to our Patreon and other stuff in the show notes, as I said. Let's go ahead and introduce our guest for today's episode. Please welcome back none other than the CoD King. It's Nick Costanza. Nick, good to see you, pal.
Hi, Connor McCabe. It's good to see you, pal.
There's only one way you needed to be introduced, and it was as your, I think your Christian name is Nick CoD King Costanza, or Nicholas CoD King Costanza?
That's right. They call me the CoD King. I'm proud of that title.
Yeah, I can see there's no apprehension in your voice. You're fully embracing it. I will say, I told you off mic that earlier today I listened to the majority of your first episode ever on the podcast. You first guested way back in August of 2020, right around your birth. Actually, I think your episode 34, where you discussed Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I think that came out on your 27th birthday or something like that. Does this ring a bell?
Sounds right. 5 years ago. Honestly, it's still the greatest birthday gift I've ever received.
That's all I needed to hear. And gosh, I hope it's you get a better one at some point. But even as early as that episode, Nick, you're coming on the podcast, and I'm introducing you as the CoD King. So you've had this title for a while, buddy.
That's interesting because if that was August 2020, it actually precedes my podcast, Reactivators, which was born and died within this show's lifespan.
I was excited to bring that up, that since you were first on, you have started and ended a whole podcast. I mean, you guys did that for what, 4 years?
We
Almost
did.
4?
And I'm very proud of that. We did over 200 episodes. And at the same time, I couldn't be prouder of my buddy Connor here for keeping his show going even longer.
Thanks, buddy. Just, constantly resuscitating the life that should just die. I should let it go, and yet I'm keeping it on life support. But yeah, there's so much that I want to unpack with you really quick as we're in this, introduction part of the podcast. First of all, like I said, you're originally on episode 34, way back when, it's so funny on the episode. I'm talking about how you were like a new regular on Video Games, a comedy show, just so many things that there's so much about that introduction in the first episode that were surprising, considering that you and I have known each other now for more than double the length of time that we did when we recorded that. We've become even better friends. We've spent so much more time together, both in person and probably even, I think inarguably more time over Zoom doing podcasts together, Games Club and the like. But yeah, you've been a good friend of mine for a long time. We still have our video games crew, but so much is the same, and yet so much has changed since your first appearance.
It's really interesting you bring that up, because now I'm sitting here thinking about how things have changed in 5 years. And I remember that I remember feeling very grateful to you for having me on. I also felt very grateful back when to have Jeremy Schmidt let me on his show, Video Games, a Comedy Show. And I think that when I first was reaching out to you both, I knew you a little bit better because we hung out in some improv circles.
Yes, we were definitely circling each other a bunch. You were starting to guest on, like, before the pandemic hit, Mock regularly.
Yes.
Including something I reference on that first episode, you being at the Mock White Elephant and us getting to, like, loop you in to that. But we also, I think you were, like, interning at the theater, at the UCB theater at the time, and I was starting to perform there more regularly, so we were seeing each other. But so you were saying you knew me a little better and you kind of knew Jeremy, right? Or had you met him outside of...
I definitely met him because we did a mess hall audition for UCB.
No.
In 2018, I think. And I remember being super nervous. It probably was my first, maybe my second. And I remember Jeremy being a nice guiding hand, telling me that it was going to be okay. I didn't need to be nervous. That he had a new change of pants for me. I could just slip right into. Okay, he didn't say that part.
I'm not going to ask any more questions about that, but I could venture to guess why. Anyway.
And the thing that I also remember from our 2020 experience was that I was just getting into podcasting. And it was something that I had really tried to throw myself into because I had done all this improv and then the pandemic hit. And I remember feeling like I had no tangible evidence of my existence in the world.
Yes.
And to even have one podcast meant a great deal to me. And I liked the feeling enough that I was able to start my own, and I really credit you for helping me make that push.
Dude, I'm so glad. I mean, hey, sometimes that's all it takes is like a friend encouraging us or, a nudge in the direction. But yeah, didn't you two, you and Tyler, run the pilot of that, of Reactivators on Jeremy's show in the fall of 2020?
Yes, I want to say October 2020.
Okay, that sounds right.
Yeah, we did a Resident Evil remake episode of Reactivators on Video Games, a Comedy Show, and then we launched soon after that. And boy, times were fun.
They sure were. 2020 was great, and we had no idea how much worse it could actually get. There were a few years in there where, despite my critiques of the previous president that we had, there was a few years in there where it was almost blissful, where it was like, hey, this isn't so bad, and hey, it's great that we've rubber banded right back to hellscape.
Yeah, I know. Gosh. I will give myself a little pat on the back, though, in the second to last episode of the Reactivators podcast, which came out in November 2024. I did correctly call them fascists at the time.
Yeah. God, we could talk about this forever, about how people overreact to people using that term, but the writing was on the wall, and here we are.
I was right. You can fight me on it, but I was totally right about it. So
Nick was right.
Gosh.
Yeah, we could talk about this forever, and we probably will. But Nick, since your first appearance, we've already talked about how you started and concluded the Reactivators podcast, which people can still go listen to. You and Tyler in your show joined the Super NPC Radio network of video game podcasts with Reactivators. You've been a regular for our Games Club series, although this is the second season in a row that we haven't had you on. So now there's a bit of urgency to get you back, whether it be this next one or the following. But you've been a staple and a mainstay at the network. You even you've made a bunch of a few appearances on the co-op series. But I want to point out a couple of notable appearances for you as well on this podcast. You were also on episode 190, where you listed your top 10 favorite games of all time. That was with the aforementioned Tyler Schnupp and Anna Garcia. And then last fall, you actually joined the ranks of, I think there's been like 4 of us who've done this, but you hosted Co-op episode 65, a discussion on Stardew Valley. And so thanks again for doing that, but that episode was fantastic. I had a great time listening back to it as I was making graphics and posting it on the Patreon. It was great, dude.
That's nice to hear. I had some very lovely guests on there. What a great game, Stardew Valley. I love that game.
So good. I have talked your ear off about, us knowing each other and your place here at Call Me By Your Game. But is there anything else you want to share about yourself while you're here, and anything you want to plug before we talk more video games?
Well, first off, I should shout out my co-host, Tyler Schnupp, former co-host of Reactivators. I know he'd appreciate what I'm saying right now. I'm kind of in my anime training arc phase, before Costanza Shippuden. So I haven't been doing too much content lately. Connor mentioned I've missed the past 2 games clubs, but I will be returning in some form, probably, like I can do Rasengan now and Shadow Clone Jutsu. It's Naruto.
They're these moves that Naruto can do?
Yeah, they are. But I will be back, and so you can follow me at Nick Costanza on most channels. If you can't find me there, you might be able to find me under my alias Kick No Stanza.
Ooh.
Yeah, subscribe to me on YouTube. I've been threatening to release more content on there for a while.
Great. Well, I'll at least put a link to your YouTube channel and in any relevant socials there too, in the show notes. Nick, we're about to talk about your more recent history with video games, but before we do, will you please tee up what we've got coming on the main event in the second half of the show and call me by your game?
My game is Fortnite.
I mean, just the name alone carries so much weight, and you are the one to bring it to us on the podcast. We got a lot to talk about in the second half. As I told you, I wanted to hear about your recent history, and what I mean by that is what gaming has been for you since you first came on the show, roughly August of 2020 up until now. And the first question is, have you seen any big trends in gaming for yourself? Are you playing a new genre a lot? Is there a console that you primarily play on? What comes to mind when I ask you that?
Great questions, Connor. I think 2 things come to mind. So I've historically been a fan of the shooter genre, hence my nickname, the CoD King, not Cod the Fish. If you're listening and that's what you thought, no, Call of Duty. And when we first talked, I was playing a lot of Call of Duty because Warzone was pretty new at that time. Oh my
goodness, yeah.
I think it came out just before the pandemic, and I played that all through the pandemic, and it was a great way to connect with my friends. A little tease of what's to come.
Ooh.
But the truth is, I haven't played Call of Duty as recently. I didn't play it at all last year.
Whoa.
I actually got Battlefield for the first time in a long time. Call of Duty and shooters in general started to introduce new mechanics that I did not like as much. There was a little bit more of a pay-to-play feeling. Very recently, Call of Duty started to use AI art, which I really am not a fan of. And truth be told, it just felt a little samey after a while. As a result, I started to drift into new genres. I had some gamer friends who helped me explore more indie games. Hades, that was another one in the pandemic that I really loved. And then I would say I primarily play on PlayStation 5, although I've dipped into computer gaming more. I put like 1,000 hours into Total War Warhammer 3, which is how do you describe it? Is it a tactics game? I'm not quite sure. It's you know this kind of game. Have you ever heard of Shogun? Those video games or Total War games in general? Are you familiar with this?
I'll look it up. I'm familiar with the series Total War Warhammer by name, but I'm not actually familiar with the genre.
I've always been interested in Warhammer when I was a kid.
It like an RTS game, real-time strategy.
Okay, I think that's technically accurate, but I would put it in a slightly separate category, maybe a subgenre, in that when I think of RTS, I think of a game like StarCraft.
Sure, yeah.
And there's a lot of micro in that. You got to jump from unit to unit and select and send them all over and issue different commands. When you look at the overworld map of a game like Total War, let's say Warhammer, it looks a lot like Civilization.
Okay.
You have your different nations all around the map. You are starting with one, you build it up, and you try to expand or achieve whatever overworld goal you have. But then when it comes to combat, if you fight someone or they fight you, you now enter the more RTS phase. You line up your troops, they line up their troops, and then you send them to attack each other. You can issue commands, you can do magic spells and different hero actions and stuff, but it's kind of two games in one, and I find that very entertaining.
Are you familiar with the game, I believe it came out in 2024, called Unicorn Overlord by Vanillaware?
I'm familiar with it by title, but I have not played it.
I believe it's a very similar game now that you've described the gameplay style for me. It sounds familiar just to completely... If you're looking for more of like an anime art style version of this game, that's one to check out. But
sold.
Yes, but had you been playing that on computer, you said?
Yeah, that was a game I've been playing on computer. Around the time we did our first episode together, I was able to build my first and the last computer. It survived.
Last because now we can't afford parts because of the AI data centers that are out there.
Sleepy Joe wouldn't have done that.
Uh-oh, guys, I started him again.
Yeah, and also... I don't have much aptitude for computer creation. I was somehow able to acquire the parts and follow a guide to build it. I'm still proud of myself for doing that, but I don't really know how to upgrade it or do anything else. So that's where we are right now. But yes, I've been able to play it, and the settings are pretty good, and that's all mouse and keyboard for me, which is different. I play some Steam games in the past, like Left 4 Dead and TF2 and stuff, but primarily I'm a controller gamer.
Okay, gotcha.
There's one more game. I've been playing this thing called Marvel Rivals.
Oh yeah, you have. I mean, when I think of Nick Costanza at this point, of course I think of Call of Duty, but I also think of Marvel Rivals. So tell us about what has gripped you. Do you still play regularly?
I do, but thankfully not as much as I was playing. I think I spent 3 months in a fugue state playing that. I mean, I'm a Lord Emma Frost. I don't remember getting that. But it's a sort of, on the topic of subgenres, I'd say a bit of a subgenre of the shooter game, because this is a team shooter. Interestingly, I think a lot of people play Marvel Rivals on computer, but I play that on PlayStation with controller. Gotcha. And I do so because my friends play with me and we play together through PlayStation. They've set up PS5 now, so you can just jump on Discord without having to go on your computer or your phone. It's really handy. So we play that together, and it's very fun. The genre is new to me because I didn't really play Overwatch. Did you play that?
Barely touched it.
Do you understand the concept of a team shooter?
Roughly,
yes.
What you do? Yeah, there's different roles that the characters have. And is Overwatch like a 4 or 5 player team?
It's changed,
hasn't
5?
It? Yeah.
The truth is, I don't really know because I barely played it. I played it a little when it first came out, and I remember thinking, this is not for me. I don't get it.
Sure.
But Marvel Rivals clicked for me, and unlike Overwatch, there's no role queue. You have to choose what you want to be, which is sort of a game in and of itself because there's 3 different types of roles. You got your tank, your DPS, the damage dealer, and your healer. And ideally, I think you want 2 of each, but it almost never works out that way. And the way that Marvel Rivals goes with skill-based matchmaking, they will make it so that if you're playing DPS too often, they'll put you in a lobby with all DPS players, which is bad because then nobody can tank and nobody can heal. So part of the fun for me initially was learning different characters so that I could fit the flex role.
Oh.
I'll be honest, I'm not the best tank. I am a natural DPS, natural born killer and all that.
Of course.
And I'm a pretty good healer. I love playing Invisible Woman. She's my favorite healer. Maybe it's because my old boss was Jessica Alba.
Yeah, who's to say what the connection is there?
Maybe it's interesting. But what really captured me about Marvel Rivals that was different from Total War, which for me was a very solitary experience, is Marvel Rivals is a very social experience. And in some ways, I would liken it to being on an improv team.
Oh.
You have different players who fulfill different roles. They have to, in the course of a scene or a match, do specific actions in order to benefit the team as a whole. Because unlike a Call of Duty, where people don't really care about winning as much, they care about the kill-death ratio. I want to go 50-1, and that's all that matters. Marvel Rivals, or I guess Overwatch, winning is the thing. You want to win the match so that you can trash talk the other team, so they can't trash talk you. And I found it very interesting because I felt my leadership capabilities being tested. What can I do in a game outside of the actual gameplay? First, I got good at Moon Knight. Then I got really good as Wolverine. I gotta be one of the best Wolverines. I have no stats to back that up, but probably.
But you just must.
And I find it interesting to jump into a game, and when you play competitive, you can ban 2 characters at the start. So you kind of have to negotiate with your team. Like, who are we going to pick? Is it going to be Hawkeye because he's got a one-shot? Well, not that many people play Hawkeye, so maybe we should go Daredevil because he's really annoying. But you could throw Spider-Man in there because I don't want to fight Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it is, I think of it like, alongside the gameplay and whatever your health bars are, you have 2 separate meters that are invisible, and it's the team morale meter on both sides. And on the enemy side, you can get their morale to go down by getting points and winning. On your team, you can drop the morale almost by doing nothing. Even if you ban the wrong character, like a Spider-Man or Magic, Black Panther, these are characters that people have put hundreds of hours into and maybe exclusively play. So if you ban that and they play it on your team, they will get mad and throw the game. And people have the biggest fights, like screaming matches. There was one that sticks out where two guys wanted to play Spider-Man, and one of the players banned the character, so neither of them could have it. And I swear the other guy yelled for 10 minutes straight, "I can't believe you banned Spider-Man. I was going to play Penny Parker. I would have played Penny for you. You could have played it. Why'd you ban him? Now we can't play it." Like, going on. And only our team can hear it.
Yes.
So it's making it harder to play the game because these guys are like having a blowout screaming match. And I got to tell you, I love it so much. It's really
just like
addictive.
Listening to the drama.
Yeah, sometimes participating. I got my clapbacks ready to go. But overall, I try to just be concise with my messaging, regroup, big push. Can we get 2 tanks? How about 3 heals? Just try to issue simple commands. That's where I feel like my leadership abilities were positively affected.
Yes.
And I realized, like, if you want to lead a group of people, you don't always have to say very much. And in fact, saying too much can hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I think we've got to amend something. You may no longer be the CoD King. You may now just be Commander Costanza, I think, with this leadership ability that you found in Marvel Rivals.
Can I ask for one punch-up?
Yes, of course.
Codmander.
It was sitting right in front of me. Codmander Costanza. That's incredible, dude. Yeah, it's funny. I know that this is a big game for you, but this is really the first time I've gotten to hear you really articulate yourself about some of your experience, but this has been great.
I talked about it a bit on the Video Games, a comedy special, comedy show, holiday special.
It was so close to being our game of the year, too. And it's so funny in those episodes what can gain momentum in a specific award or category. And there was just suddenly the right things get vetoed and people get it in their head that it would be funny or cool that a game wins. And it was close, wasn't it? Up in the final Running Man moment.
I think it was in the top 2. And I was really surprised, but everyone was so tickled when I mentioned that there's a Marvel character named Angela.
Yes.
A character no one had heard of, including players of the game before she came out.
One of the greatest moments we've probably ever had in a Game of the Year special. But Nick, Marvel Rivals has been big for you. I have a couple specific questions I want to ask you about the last 5 or so years of gaming.
Okay.
I know that there are other franchises that mean a lot to you. Your Sonics, your Animal Crossings, your Pokemons. What of those pillars for you how have you kept up with them? Have you played a Sonic recently? Has there been a meaningful Pokemon experience? Have you had an appetite to go back to one of those?
I'll start with the one I played the least, which is Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
I dropped off that during the pandemic, probably around the time we did that episode or a little after. I just got burned out because it felt too depressing to me at a certain point.
Animal I had already Crossing, gone cold turkey.
Wow. So for me, Animal Crossing New Horizons is inextricably connected to the COVID pandemic and visiting people's islands when I couldn't see them in person.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike Warzone, where I relished that, with Animal Crossing, it just made me depressed for some reason. But the other two you brought up, I do have more recent connections to. The last Sonic game I played was Sonic Frontiers.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it to a point. Okay. I don't think I ever beat it. I always meant to go back to it. When they added free DLC, I'm pretty sure they added Tails, Knuckles, and Amy for free to that game. But when I was playing it, it was just Sonic, and it was weird because it was a very pretty game, but I never felt like the aesthetic quite matched Sonic the Hedgehog as a character. Mm-hmm. It was very cyber robo-y mixed with grass, but not in the traditional Eggman way. You gotta play it to believe it, folks.
Sure, yeah.
That said, I have watched all 3 Sonic movies in the past 5 years.
Hell yeah.
The first one, fine. The second one I liked. Oh, wait. There are 3, right?
Yeah, there are already 3.
Oh my gosh. I said it so quickly, and now I'm like, there are 3 Sonic movies?
And a Knuckles TV show that I think was on Paramount Plus.
Okay, now that I did not see. But yeah, okay, so the second one introduced Knuckles, that's right. And then the third introduced Shadow. And I think the third was my favorite. Jim Carrey's dual role. It was very funny.
I had a great time. I watched it alone in a theater. Well, there was maybe 12 other people there, but I was by myself and I had such a good time.
Now, the second one, on that note, when I saw that movie at the Burbank 16, and the post-credit scene showed Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm not even joking. It's one of the biggest theater reactions I've ever heard.
I bet.
Like, kids standing up and screaming like it was the Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
And I was so hyped myself. I was like, Shadow the Hedgehog, they're doing it. They're doing it this early. And then the third one came around. I thought Keanu knocked it out of the park.
He's good, man. Maria.
Oh, that's all I needed.
Truly.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. You were talking about that was, I think, part of your Sonic recent experience.
And then with Pokemon, I played the DLC for Sword and Shield, and then I played Scarlet. And I didn't play many other Pokemon games. My roommate through the pandemic was a huge fan of Pokemon Unite, which is kind of like a League of Legends-y game. Our mutual friend Spraggles plays it.
What's remind me of that roommate's name?
Kijana,
yes, that's right. Thank you.
Yes, great man. He loved to hate Pokemon Unite. And he'd get so mad about it and all the microtransactions. They charge you so much money for skins.
It's a bit predatory, yeah.
Yeah, and as someone who's bought some skins in my day, I couldn't sink to that level. Yeah. So he says. But yeah, I besides that, watching him play that game and playing Scarlet, I didn't play that much Pokemon. The only exception would be the games clubs we did.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I had a blast with, but we went back and we played older Pokemon games.
Yes, we played the originals, Red, Blue, and Yellow, between our group of 6, and that is something too that, of course, is available. It can be listened to for free now. The whole thing's out on the Super NPC Games Club free feed. So if you're someone out there listening and you love the original Pokemon games and want to listen to like a book club format, go search. It's going to be a couple years back at this point because they've been out for free for a while. But also, Nick, a feature that we have available on Patreon is that people can actually purchase Games Club series as a whole. Basically now, when a series wraps up, we list it for $10 and they can keep it forever. And we've had a number of series get bought through our Patreon, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which one's the most popular?
The most popular one was our Death Stranding 2 Games Club from last summer, which you were a part of. I think that has sold 2 or 3 people have purchased that, but we've also, someone bought our Silk Song Games Club that we did and a couple others, but actually maybe the Pokemon one may have been purchased, which is like 14 episodes. It's huge. You and I have like flirted with the idea of playing a Pokemon game together and doing an episode on it. So I still want to do that with you. Did I text you this winter about my journey through Pokemon Black?
You did a bit. I think that was one that you'd been considering doing for Games Club. Yes,
it was nominated. That's a sliding doors moment of like, if that game wins, you're on the Games Club that we're doing right now. But so because it didn't, I played through it over the holidays and it was as good as I could have imagined. I had an incredible experience with Pokemon Black, having never played it before, and is just made me want to play other generations that I missed. So this isn't something we have to do, but at some point I still want to play through the Generation 3 with you. Because I think we both have a copy of a 3DS copy of the remakes. Is that correct?
I do. I have Omega Ruby.
Yes, and I have Alpha Sapphire. So
perfect.
We might need to get some people together at some point this year. I know I've been asking you about your some of the pillars, those sort of franchises that you go back to. I am going to wrap us up pretty soon in this segment, but I have 2 more questions for you while we're here. One is, has there been another standout game or a big surprise in the last like 5 years that you have fallen in love with, or that's had another meaningful appearance in your life?
Yes, actually. And I'm not just saying this to promote the Games Club, But you saying Death Stranding 2 reminded me that when did the first one come out? Late 2019?
The first game, yes.
And I owned it. I had a copy on PlayStation 4. It was the third episode of Reactivators recorded. But I barely played it. And I barely played it during that recording. And I always kind of regretted it. But for some reason, I had tried Death Stranding a couple of times and it didn't click with me. And then just in the last couple of years, we did those games clubs. And I am a convert. I am a huge fan of the Stranding genre.
Yes. I was so pleased at how much you took to the first game, especially because that was the biggest question mark. And then if we both ended up, even though there are some significant differences, we loved both of the games. But I was just tickled that you ended up really embracing that first game. You built like something like every road in the game. You really became a quite the porter.
Yeah, well, as a former delivery driver, it spoke to me. And also another recovered memory is I hosted a Metal Gear Solid 2 episode of something. Was that a Games Club, or what was that?
That was back when we used to do one game at a time per episode.
Yeah.
A lot more work for those.
It was a lot of work, and I did play through all of that, and I'd never played it before. I have a bit of a gap in my Kojima lore. Yes. And I remember that connecting with me, and it was one of the first signs I felt that I needed to really play Death Stranding, because I remember being so taken by the depth of it and the creativity and uniqueness.
Yes, those games, too, those in particular out of all of Kojima's titles are, I would say, the most prescient and the ones that unfortunately in so many ways predicted a lot of the things that we are living through now, namely, the COVID-19 pandemic and just the era of misinformation and the memification of life, which is a big thing into, it's crazy. I also wanted to say, related, I haven't posted about it in a couple weeks because I've gotten behind, but if anyone's also listening, the first Death Stranding Games Club is airing for free right now on the Super NPC Games Club feed. So wherever you listen to podcasts, search Super NPC Games Club. And I think episode 4 is out at this point of like a 9-episode series. So yeah, that's out for free too.
Wow. Yeah. Great games. Great stuff.
The last question that I have for you is, I would like to know if there's a game that you are excited to play or anticipating. This could be an unreleased title that you have your eye on, or something that's in your backlog that you've been just itching to get to.
Well, we did a Secret Santa recently, and a friend of the show, Michael Hearn, was very nice to give me a copy of Sonic Forces.
Yes.
Which is a Sonic game I've never played. I'm excited to play that. And one game I'm really excited to play that I have just started, probably less than 15 minutes put in, is Hades 2.
Ooh, what, do you have that on your Nintendo Switch?
I have it on my Switch 1.
Okay.
Now, I had a copy of it for Switch 2, and it took some engineering, but I was able to play it on Switch 1, but it does pop up with a message that's like, some of the features of Switch 2 are not available for this game. Uh-huh. So I hope it's not that much worse on Switch 1. But either way, I'm really excited to dip in. A friend of mine, my old buddy Dan, played that game in early access and was obsessed with that at the time. And my understanding is it's only gotten better.
That's amazing. What a game to look forward to, one that has so much for you to do and dive into that'll occupy a lot of time. I'll look forward to hearing whatever you think about that at some point. Nick, thank you for sharing about some of your more recent history with gaming. It's filled in some gaps of some stuff I knew about and then some stuff that I wasn't aware of. So thanks, buddy.
Hey, it was my pleasure, Connor.
We are going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we'll finally get into all things Fortnite. So, Nick, I will see you on the other side.
Okay, bye.
Welcome back to Call Me By Your Game. Connor McCabe returning to the microphone with my guest, the COD Costanza. Nick, welcome back, buddy.
It feels good. I know I said I wasn't embarrassed about the name, the CoD King, but this one feels really good.
Especially after I've said it a second time and you just have to embrace it being the guest. Buddy, like I said, before we talk about your personal connection to Fortnite and any other details of your experience that you want to share, we're going to set the table a little bit for people and talk about this game with some history and context. It might feel a little funny too, because this is a game that is, as I was telling you before, saying before we started recording, is ubiquitous with games. This might be the most well-known. This and like Minecraft to me seem like, or Roblox seem like they could be the most well-known games out there because of their popularity, because this one at least is free to play. But so it might feel funny to share about it, but we're going to try that. And Nick, also, if you want to jump in at any time and include history and context, you got the green light, buddy.
Oh, thank you. Well, I might just chortle and chuckle along. We'll see.
That works too. Fortnite is a 2017 online video game, as it's described here, and a game platform developed and released by Epic Games. It's available in 7 distinct game mode versions that otherwise share the same general gameplay and game engine, which is titled Fortnite Battle Royale, which is, as it sounds, a battle royale game. It's a third-person shooter for the most part. This game is known for essentially being a sort of modern day Ready Player One style experience where you can not only just be a regular guy in this game and play with, 99 other people in a match, but you can also use skins from pop culture and characters that are very popular, whether that be Wolverine, as you named earlier, or Kratos, or Master Chief, or characters from The Office, like Michael Scott and Dwight Schrute were some of the more recent additions.
I have 3 out of the 5 of those skins.
Incredible. They also have introduced some of the more, I think, notable game modes, as they have introduced and you can correct me on the name, but a sort of like Guitar Hero like game in that. What do you know what the title of that one is off the top of your head?
I don't know if it's the name
Fortnite
of the mode.
Festival?
Maybe it's Festival.
Yeah, there's also like a Lego Fortnite option as well. There are seasons that they do of this game where they embrace a certain property. We are quite recently off the heels of the Simpsons integration with Fortnite, where it was there was like a Springfield integration to the map, and there was characters that you could get and play as and also see.
It's incredible.
This is one of the most popular titles in the world. It is one of the most, if not the most, like successful video game franchise currently in video game platform, just from the money that it makes from skins and battle passes and what have you. This game I think I first heard of in about 2018, so maybe a year after it came out, and because it was free to play, I was able to check recently there's an app Nintendo released where you can check if you were signed into your Nintendo account, all of your activity dating back to 2017, and in 2019, Fortnite, it tells me that I played Fortnite one time, and I truly think I hopped into one match trying it out and was like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and turned it off. A few more details about this game is that it has, according to, this is a Wikipedia that I'm pulling from, that it draws over 125 million players in their first year to the game, which is crazy. It earns hundreds of millions of dollars per month. And up until 2019, so this is out of date by 6 years. So December 2019, it had already generated $9 billion in gross revenue. It's on seemingly every available platform. You can play it on your phone. You can get it on the Switch. You can play it on PC. You can also play this on the PlayStation and Xbox consoles. So most game modes do support a cross-platform play. Currently, I believe it's like a South Park themed season. Have you been dipping in recently?
I have completed the battle pass.
Oh.
I will note the South Park theming is vastly inferior to the Simpsons theming. Simpsons was incredible. It was too short-lived. Fortnite will do something like make the whole map Springfield, all these references. They'll keep it in for a month and then you'll never see it again. With South Park, they just made it the normal map, but there's one section that's like Cartman Land.
Oh, I see. Dang. It's kind of disappointing, especially if you were like a huge South Park fan looking forward to something on the scale of The Simpsons.
They added a cutscene at the start that introduced a 5-player mode because Butters, the South Park character, was very upset that Fortnite has always been a 4-player game. And he brought over the Stick of Truth from the South Park video games. Oh. And that is a usable item now. So that was pretty cool. But wow. Springfield, nothing compared to that. That was incredible.
I heard so much about it from friends and people who don't play the game, but I wanted to dip into it. It seems like one of the biggest draws they've ever had for getting people to play.
Yeah.
Oh, the last thing I wanted to note, too, is that Fortnite originally was, before they introduced no build mode, which is a mode that, I guess to explain it where you don't have to do the building mechanic, which is part of what made this game popular, where you could build basically structures around you as your character. I'm kind of doing like almost like a hoeing motion right now, I guess is the way to say what I'm doing.
Yeah, because your character kind of has a pickaxe.
Yes.
In a weird way, you mentioned Minecraft. It is a little like that. You do collect materials in the base game. The difference is that you're building forts in the moment, oftentimes, in combat. That is how the game was when I first started playing. If you started playing in 2018, it was probably the same for you. And I found that way harder.
Yeah. And by all accounts, no build is far more popular.
That's all I play.
Yeah. Nick, as far as like just bones and important information to get out before we dive into your history, is there anything else you feel like we should include before we talk about the COD Mander's time with Fortnite?
I just wanted to add in, because you mentioned Ready Player One, which might also have been 2018.
Oh, the movie. I think you're right.
I saw that movie with Movie Pass.
Oh, you're taking me back, buddy.
A relic of the past. And I remember watching that movie and thinking, this world kind of sucks. And the reason I thought that was because as the movie presents the world of Ready Player One, everyone is their own individual person living their lives, and they all go into machines to enter the Oasis. Did I get that right?
You did.
Wow, I'm proud of myself.
Nice.
But I remember you would see like Chucky in the background or Optimus Prime. And I remember just watching the movie and thinking, well, yes, I'm seeing the physical representation of that character, digital representation, but it's not really the character.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a thing I recognize in the background. But then I'm playing Fortnite, and the first battle pass I got was a Marvel one, and I got Doctor Strange. And I remember picking that skin and thinking, well, now it's different. Now I do like it because when I'm playing, I feel like Doctor Strange.
Sure. Almost role playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's an element that watching it does not give you. It doesn't make you feel like the character to watch from the outside. But when you're in it, Oh, yeah, I am Doctor Strange, and I am about to fight Vegeta and Kim Kardashian.
They're both coming after me.
Yeah. Well, I'm coming after them.
Nick, you even bring... This is a tangent before we dive into your time, but I also was a huge user of MoviePass back in 2018.
Nice.
I still have my card somewhere. I saved it, and I'm on like an email from them. Like they still send out emails, and the only reason I haven't unsubscribed is because I like to still see their updates. Like they keep trying to bring it back, but not really. Do you happen to get these emails too?
I have, and I've seen at least one attempted rebrand that failed.
Yes, it usually now I feel like what they send out are just like updates to what we're up to, and here's what's going on in movies, which is almost like a newsletter. But RIP, MoviePass. Nick, let's get into your time with Fortnite. How did you come to play it in the first place?
It was a friend on an improv team who first brought it up. And
oh, nice.
He mentioned it in 2017. I think Fortnite Save the World was the original incarnation. Have you heard of this? That
sounds familiar.
And it wasn't Battle Royale. It was its own mode. Maybe you can still play it, maybe you can't, but he enjoyed it. And then Battle Royale was coming out, and he was into that. And I remember him talking about it, and I was intrigued by the notion of a Battle Royale style game.
Yeah. By the way, to interrupt you, It says here that it's more of like a tower defense style game.
Yeah, okay. I know what I have played that, and I think you could play it with friends, but maybe it was 4-player cap or something. And I've played that kind of game before, but it's not my favorite, and so I kind of let Fortnite go out of my brain. But then it came back into my brain because when Infinity War came out, the Avengers movie, they introduced a mode to the Battle Royale where there was an item you could get and become Thanos.
Oh.
And when you were Thanos, you had his Infinity Stone powers, and it sounded really fun because it sounded like instead of 100 people, if you're playing, let's say, solo, it's basically 100 people versus each other. You just want to be the last one standing. But with the Thanos edition, now it was kind of like 99 people against one guy who got that. Because he's so powerful, you have to try to figure out how to take him out. And I was super intrigued, and I also played that game for the first time on Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
Fun little connection point.
Interesting.
My recommendation to listeners: don't play shooter games on Nintendo Switch if you can avoid it. The sticks are simply too small.
Yes. And eventually they are not going to work.
Correct. Yeah. Oh, I hate that stick drift.
It's awful.
Oh, don't get me started. But yeah, I played that game when Thanos was there. That must have been when I had that Doctor Strange Battle Pass. And there's a thing I've always really resented about Fortnite, which is that if you don't finish the Battle Pass, you get locked out of extra rewards.
Oh.
So I can still go on my account and see that there's a gold Doctor Strange skin that I will never get because I didn't get that Battle Pass.
Wow.
Similarly, I'll never be able to play as the Mandalorian because I wasn't playing the game at the time.
Oh, and you are a Star Wars guy and have enjoyed a Mandalorian before.
Yeah, I'm a Mando head.
Are you going to see the new movie?
Probably.
Honestly, I didn't even finish the series because I thought I got so bored by season 3, but I'd go see the movie if you wanted to.
All right. It's a date.
It's a date, folks, and he said it on the podcast, so he has to go with me.
I will absolutely go see The Mandalorian and Grogu with Connor McCabe.
I think you were just talking about the nature of Fortnite and how you can just miss out on stuff even if you purchase a battle pass, but if you don't finish it. And when you say that, that's incentives within the battle pass, right, that you have to complete?
It is, and I have to give Fortnite a lot of credit here because unlike other games that have battle passes that slowly whittled this feature out, playing through the battle pass, completing it, unlocking all the different rewards, they actually give you enough currency to get the next one.
Oh.
So for a long time, I was able to get enough V-Bucks, the Fortnite currency, in order to keep getting battle passes without having to pay extra money in.
That's kind of great.
Now, did I put extra money in? You better believe it. You think when Itachi Uchiha shows up in the store, I'm not jumping on that? You got another thing coming.
I mean, who among us hasn't jumped on a Itachi Uchiha, when it's shown up in the store?
It's also Naruto.
Oh, okay, more Naruto, sorry.
And that's
what's so funny, Nick?
Yeah.
On your first episode that I keep referencing, the Modern Warfare 2 ep, you keep saying Call of Duty things, and you keep telling me, like, that's a Call of Duty reference. So I love that there is sort of, like, history is repeating itself, but this time it's about Naruto on this episode.
That's really funny.
This is meant to be. It's
top of mind because I'm reading through it. This is completely unrelated to video games, but a friend of mine, Jack, has been reading One Piece and Naruto weekly since 2007.
The Jack Brown?
Close. Brooks.
Jack Brooks, that's your friend. I'm thinking of Jackson Brown from UCB. Jack Brooks, who you mentioned on your episode a few times.
Yeah, I did.
He's been one of your best buds for a long time.
You're welcome, Jack.
Welcome, Jack. I know you're listening.
So this is really goes to show how far I've come since the Ready Player One era. If I often have just a passing interest in something like the Halo franchise, if I see Master Chief pop in the store, I will sometimes buy it because I think it's really funny, for one thing, to have Master Chief doing Gangnam Style. Usually my go-to emote, by the way.
Of course.
I was
Psy
playing,
lives within all of us.
I was playing at home over the break because Fortnite still works on my PlayStation 4, unlike Marvel Rivals, which is not optimized for it.
Dang.
And my dad was watching me play, and in this last battle pass, they put Marty McFly as one of the rewards. And he thought watching Marty McFly do Gangnam Style was the funniest thing. He laughed every single time, and I was like, I guess I gotta keep doing it.
There is some novelty about what Fortnite offers that I think we maybe have become numb to. Sure, I think at times a cynical eye can be... First of all, people can have whatever opinions they want, whether it's extremely pro or anti, but there are some really cool things about the game that make it unique, or the novelty of being able to mash all this stuff up together and have exactly what you said. Marty McFly doing the Gangnam Style dance it's almost like showing someone from the 1960s a piece of tech from today. They'd be wowed. Like, I bet if you showed me that when the game first came out, I'd be like, holy shit, this is incredible.
Yeah, and part of my affection is that I've played this game over several years now, and so the things you can accumulate that you can use within the same match is very interesting and unique. Like, I could be Marty McFly jumping out of the battle bus, and my smoke trail behind me is Doctor Strange's portal magic, but when I land on my glider, I'm landing on the dragon from Dragon Ball Z, which... my old co-host Tyler would be so mad at me for not knowing the name of right now.
I know, he'd be split. He'd be like, oh, I'm glad you referenced it, but I'm disappointed you don't know the name.
And then I land as Marty McFly, and the guns I pick up have the Akatsuki color print from Naruto. And I can just be all these different things in one, and I might role play as Marty. I mean, that sounds crazy to say. I'm not like role playing as Marty every day or anything.
Yeah, I'm not pretending I'm a 17-year-old high school student who time travels.
Wants to kiss his mom.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that part doesn't sound so bad. Nick, for you and this attachment that you've grown to have with Fortnite, from that initial time you were describing to me when you jumped in around I think the Thanos era, as I'll just refer to it. Mm-hmm. Was it a slow burn? Were you immediately captured by it? Have you had seasons or, I guess waves of involvement?
Totally waves. The Thanos time, we call it the snap, by the way.
Of course, yeah. Not to be confused with the slap.
No. Not the show
NBC's favorite
or the
show.
Incident.
Yeah. Oh, don't bring that up.
Put Will Smith in the game. That'd be fun to skin.
There's not like an Agent J skin?
You know what? If there's not, there will be.
There should be, yeah.
This game comes in waves for me. Seasons is a great way to put it because they refer to each season as a season. But the thing about Fortnite and why I wanted to talk about it is because despite the fact that this game is newer, gosh, still almost 10 years old, I guess, from 2017, I've been playing it for about 9 years, and I play it on and off. I play it, something pops up like the Thanos thing. That was how I first got in, and that never really went away. When something does go viral or pop, I will often go back into it, and then I'll play it for a while. I'll play it past whatever that event is, and I've seen the game change, and it became a really good game that wasn't Call of Duty for my friends and I to all play together. I remember in the Thanos era, around that time, you could like push people around in shopping carts and stuff. That's not a feature that exists in the game anymore. Huh. They've changed the map. Tomato Town's not even in the game at this point.
Not Tomato Town.
I know. Rest in peace. But I go back and I look at all the skins and I can kind of pinpoint them to different times when I was playing. I played before the pandemic, in the pandemic, afterwards, and I'm still playing it now. And they always find little variations and change-ups that make it very fun. And for some reason, the friends I play the game with feel the same way as me. We might all get tired of it around the same time, but we always come back, and it always ends up being a nice game to play together.
That's awesome. I definitely am going to be asking you about the friend group that you play it with. But before I do that, I wanted to ask, when it comes to these like changes, whether it be the loss of a feature or adding something or a totally new game mode, has there been, what sticks out in your mind as far as the most significant for you?
Unequivocally, it is no build.
Okay.
Or zero build. That is the reason that I continue to play the game. If it was only build, I definitely would have fallen off it for good at a certain point, because I never got good at building.
Yeah.
And it would actively annoy me playing that mode, doing well. This is a very common battle royale game. I'm going to describe to you. And it across all genres of battle royale games, you land in a remote, desolate area. You try to avoid as many people as possible. You grab all the guns you can. You upgrade your equipment all by yourself. And then the first gunfight you get into, 20 minutes in, you lose and you're done. That happens a lot. And I am willing to power through that in a game like Warzone when we're all on the same playing field, essentially, of skill. Like, yes. Most of the time I trust myself to be able to outshoot someone, and that is fun. And even if I lose, I'm the kind of person that will like give it up for them. Like, you got me. You deserve that emote you're dancing on my corpse doing. But when it comes to building, I couldn't get it. I couldn't figure out the controls, especially on controller, especially on a Nintendo Switch controller. And it would be the same setup. I've been in this game for a while. I've got all my gear, but now I come up against another player, and by the time my first bullet reaches him, he's like 20 feet in the air, having built this tower, built walls around himself and upwards at the same time. And it drove me crazy. So when I got Zero Build introduced, I was so happy, because now it felt like we were on that level playing field again. Yes.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I can imagine, especially not connecting with a, like, not just a feature of the game, but like a core tenet that would be tough to continue on and want to just embrace. So Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Zero build, I mean, is how long ago did they even bring that to the game? Has that been around for over 5 years at this point?
I have to look it up. I wouldn't be surprised because I feel like I've been playing the game for a while.
Most of its existence.
Yeah, but gosh, that would have been a really good question for me to have the answer to ahead of time.
I can even look it up right now. Free build mode introduction. Let's find this out really quick. Let's see. Okay, of course I needed to be more specific because that looked it up for The Sims. Not what I'm looking for. Fortnite free build mode introduction. Let's see. How long ago did they do this?
I'm seeing March 2022.
Okay.
Now, I think I came back and I played this game between 2018 and 2022. In fact, I'm sure I did. I know that I've tried it a few times with build, and I was kind of willing to power through to a certain extent with the building. But as soon as this came in, I was happy as a clam. They made it permanent pretty quickly after that. And then they introduced another mode that was definitely taken from Call of Duty. They call it Fortnite Reload. In Warzone, they called it Rebirth, and that's where the matches are smaller. There's less people and the map is smaller, but you do respawn, so you come back quickly. And as long as your whole team is not dead, you can come back until the late stages. And that's really fun because it's a lot more energetic and you're just running and gunning constantly.
That sounds great. As we continue to talk about your experience with the game, I want to start to weave in some more of the context, which you've already talked to me a little bit about how this game, made its way into your life. And you've sort of teased a little bit that you oftentimes play with a group of people.
Yes.
Are you finding that you, more often than not, you are playing with that core group or by yourself, or do you split time?
Yeah, so I have, there's 5 of us. I'll shout them out. We just go by first names, kind of boring.
Go for it.
Jack, Reed, Ryan, Connor, and what's my name? The Codmander Nick
Costanza.
Codmander Nick.
I was going to wonder if Butters was the 5th, but it's you.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because one thing we haven't been able to do in Fortnite recently is play as 5 people. It was always a situation as a 4-player shooter where you could, if there were 4 of us, we had a full stack. It's great. We can squad up. But since there's 5 of us, one person would be left out if all of us were able to play.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it's really just in this last update that we were able to play together for the first time. And I like playing with 5 people even more than playing with 4 people.
That's awesome. Have you noticed any shift in the dynamic of there being 5 of you, or has it just been more of a good thing?
I think it's been more of a good thing. I think that duos is really fun when you're playing with 2 people. I think solo is the hardest, obviously, because you got no one to rely on but your wits and instinct. And it's back to that solitary experience where I can shoot that guy with the sniper and I'm gonna Gangnam Style, but it hits different when somebody's playing with you, and they can all share in that. But yeah, I think that we've all played together on so many games before that we understand each other's style enough that 5 doesn't really mix anything up too much. I already know 2 of the guys are more in the hider territory. They're gonna pick a bush and post up there for a while, whereas I'm more in the I want to run and gun a little bit.
Sure.
You have to be somewhat cautious. I can't go full aggressive instinct or I get taken out pretty quickly. It's a little double-edged sword of the Codmander. And then a friend like Jack is interested in the emoting. He's good at playing, but they added this feature that's not quite the Rock Band element, but you can do emotes, you can do sprays, and then they added something called jam tracks where you can just start playing the drum beat of Sabrina Carpenter song.
That's incredible.
And then I can go into his circle and I'm playing the bass track of Feel Good Inc. And then my other friend starts singing like the Backstreet Boys vocals. And you can just create a new song. You can change the tone. You can change the pitch. And we're doing this in a game where there are other teams like wanting to kill us. We almost never get shot at while we're doing it. I don't know. It's probably just pure luck, but there's many a moment where we're like waiting, we're posting up, and then all of a sudden we just start rocking out together.
That's so much fun. What a fun quirk for your group. I'm sure you're not the only group who does that, but it's a part of your gameplay together. So I love hearing that.
It is. I think the term they use now is aura farming.
Aura farming. Yes.
And I will tell you, I am one of the biggest Marvel rivals, aura farmers. And when I call my Wolverine gameplay, I call it a performance because I'm out there getting a triple kill, and then you see me cooking up hot dogs on the barbecue, breathing fire. Fortnite has all that kind of stuff and more, and you can... everybody's always dancing, and boy, it's really a blast. It's the kind of thing that makes it fun, whether we're chit-chatting as friends or if we just want to kind of veg out in game together. There's always stimuli. We've also experimented with other modes. At one point, I think this can't be overstated. Fortnite is one of the biggest media franchises now. It makes so much money. It has tried so many different things outside of being like a shooter game. At one point they showed Inception in the game. You could just all stand next to other players and watch it. I think Travis Scott had a concert.
Yeah, there's been like multiple concerts that I've heard of not even being a player of the game.
That's pretty spectacular for it to make the news to that level. And the Simpsons Fortnite, they had like billboards and stuff and trailers for it.
Wow.
So there's always something to do. And we could go in and spend a night not even playing zero build mode and still have lots of fun.
Yeah. Do you have a moment that you all have played together that sticks out the most in your mind, whether it be a most fun or devastating?
Yeah, actually, one of the most fun was just a week or two ago. We had 5 of us on at the same time, and I was just laughing the whole night. We got a lot of wins, more than normal. I don't know if it's quint mode or what, but we were just like winning back to back to back. If you win in Fortnite, you get a crown for the next game that gives you extra experience. So there's incentive to not lose your next match.
Yeah,
you want to
keep
like
it build on that
possible.
Success.
Yeah, and so we were winning, and then I just remember my friends who are, by the way, are not comedy improv people. These are my friends from back home. They started riffing and doing impressions of past US presidents reacting to a Godzilla attack. And it was so just out of the blue, but Jack hit us with the Kamala Harris impression.
Past and attempted presidents.
Yes, and attempted. Yeah. And
that's so funny.
I was like crying laughing, and I feel like that to me is a little bit the magic of Fortnite.
Yeah, I'm sure that it's having, part of this is it's a combination of factors at play. It sounds like here is that Fortnite being the playground for you guys and your friendship together, having a place where you can just, like you said, either veg or have some serious goal that night to like win or just do your best, and it being a place for you all to just convene and hang. We did that. That was something that I found really fun about back in 2020 when we were doing a lot of Fall Guys together. Yeah. And playing on Zoom and chatting, which, probably the most convoluted way to to play a video game together was chat on Zoom, but it's those types of moments and times in life are just so much fun. And it sounds like you guys have just like, this is a group of people I've heard you talk about a bunch. I even, have gotten the chance to meet Connor several times.
Yeah.
My namesake, former guest of the show, Connor Arakaki. I assume that's the Connor you're talking about.
It is. Yeah, you nailed it.
Love that guy. He, your group, it sounds like it's also just been a good excuse for you to keep in touch. Is that fair to assume? For
sure. And particularly not when we started, but the pandemic era of it, even like we don't live close to each other. So seeing each other in person was already kind of a luxury. The fact that we could get on there together and all just hang out. I think your term, the playground, is the perfect way to describe it. It is the playground. And that's opposed to, say, a Marvel Rivals, where I play competitive with a few of those guys.
Sure.
And some of them don't take it as seriously. And we've definitely had more conflict in a game like that, where 3 people are really trying and 2 people are having fun. And in Fortnite, you can still have fun and win.
Yeah, that's great. Do you all have like a set time every week that you play? Do you just kind of keep in touch to find a window?
I try to find a weekend day if possible. I always, in the back of my mind, I think I'd love a couple hours if we can connect. But a few of us, Reed and Ryan in particular, we often play on weeknights. Recently, I've been getting up so early, I can't play that late.
You gotta get to bed.
I know, and I hate going to bed.
Yes.
But yeah, we always connect a little.
That's great. Do you, like right now, I have some like specific skin questions for you.
Yes.
You already talked to me about how you're always rocking the Gangnam Style emote dance, but do you have an all-time favorite skin and a skin you are using currently? And if those are the same thing, give me another one you've like looped in recently.
Okay, this is a really good question. Jack has the Thanos skin, which it was exclusive to the era he was in the game, and that was kind of before they started really putting effort into skins. Older Fortnite skins, for the most part, kind of look like Fortnite characters done up as the movie characters.
Okay.
But the Thanos one kind of looks like they took the 3D model from the movie and put it in, so it's unique. And I never see anyone use that, so I love when he plays that. Connor often plays Godzilla.
Cool.
Reed is usually Chun-Li. And Ryan doesn't play like a IP character. He plays like a gimp suit woman.
Okay.
A little bit smaller than the average Fortnite character. I think his idea is that the hitbox is different and people miss
that's
more
something
shots.
we haven't even touched on, is that the hitboxes are supposed to be the same. So you'll see characters sized strangely than you might know them from their IP.
Yes.
Like you said, Godzilla. People might be imagining a giant Godzilla, but this is like just a regular sized man version of Godzilla. Yeah,
you are correct.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's great.
We got to yours.
It's helpful for the listener to know this kind of stuff. I'm thinking, because I do have quite the collection. On the hitbox note, I have some Dragon Ball ones. I have Vegeta, and his head is enormous and his hitbox is tiny. But at the end of the day, if your head is too big, it pops out of bushes, it pops out of cars, and even if they can't hit it, they know I'm there. So I like something a little more stealthy. Recently, I've really been enjoying Ned Flanders.
Oakley dokley, Nick.
I got him in the Simpsons pack, and that is a very fun skin. He's also got a nice green sweater on, so it kind of matches into the greenery.
Sure.
I mentioned that I liked Itachi from Naruto, but one of my favorites is Kakashi, with the mask over his face and one eye covered. He's also got green on, so I really like that. I like Master Chief. One of my all-time favorites is RoboCop.
Cool.
Which I just think it's so funny to be RoboCop. I also think it's really funny to be the xenomorph from Aliens.
Yes.
Because it doesn't even make sense. I'm like an alien running around with guns and a pickaxe.
And collaborating with other people.
Yes. Gosh, there's so many. It's hard to pick a favorite. I think I pick multiple and have bought multiple because I kind of like to swap.
That's fun.
I did get Michael Scott, and I liked that.
Very nice. Because the Office ones offered are him and Dwight, right?
Yeah, and I thought about Dwight, but part of my calculation is that one of the rarer Fortnite skins for a long time was John Wick. Mm-hmm. And I liked the idea of that, like being a guy in a suit with a gun. But to make it that much funnier and be Michael Scott instead of John Wick as the guy in the suit, it tickles me.
That is very funny. Am I correct in remembering, I might be mixing you up with another Fortnite friend of ours. Did you heavily use Peter Griffin?
So it's funny. My friends and I always said, they gotta put Family Guy skins in. They got to. They did. They released a battle pass of them, but I did not get that battle pass.
Oh, really?
That was in one of my off stretches, and ultimately I'm okay with it because they went with buff Peter Griffin.
Oh, that's right.
And it just doesn't hit the same way for me.
Yeah.
Something they'll do if a character is smaller, like, and I don't know why I did this. I bought Morty from Rick and Morty, probably thinking it was funny at the time. But now, so it's like you have the Morty character and he's in a kind of a mech suit, the thing that carries around the dog in the show. I barely watch it. And I don't really like that because I don't really feel like I'm the character if I'm like a little person in a suit.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's how they size him up.
Yeah. For some reason, when every character is the same height, like Indiana Jones, that's another one that I thought was really fun to play as. Like Indiana Jones and Itachi are the same height. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Let's say they're both 6 feet, whatever. Cartman and all the South Park characters, by the way, they're also in like trash mech suits.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I would rather just be Cartman.
Yeah, I've talked to people about this before, and it is definitely not my place to be commenting on a game I do not play and have turned on one time. But I believe I was talking to mutual friend Matt Apodaca about this. I think it would be even more fun for the game if characters did have different hitboxes. If there was like an advantage or disadvantage to playing as a smaller character or a slower character. But I think that might, because the game is so big as far as the swath of selectable characters, maybe there would be just at things they couldn't account for, the developers, and it might feel unfair to certain people.
That's my first thought, is people would call it unfair. They would definitely call it pay to play if you buy Cartman and he's half the size of everyone else, so you miss most of your shots on him. Yeah. Although I hear what you're saying, like GoldenEye was super fun and that had that component.
True. Yeah, there could be a way to do it, like, and this is the last thing I'll speculate on, is that maybe if you do something like that, Cartman, is smaller and harder to hit, but maybe he has half the HP, so it takes half the shots to kill him, and that's the disadvantage or something. But I'm sure they've thought about that, and they're like, this is just going to be the way to go for us.
Something I like about having a larger skin selection is that if a friend plays as a character I'll sometimes pick that skin. Like Fun. My buddy Dave and I have been playing recently, he often picks Ned Flanders or Marty McFly, and when he does that, I just clone him. Yeah. Because when we play together in duos, it confuses the enemy team. They're like, oh, there's Marty McFly. Wait, no, he's behind me. There's two of them. What? Like, that's
just like in Back to the Future Part 2.
Very good, Connor.
One of my favorite movies.
They also added one more element. You can have a little, what they call a sidekick. At first, everybody just got a little like dog that looked like a banana.
Huh.
And now a friend of mine has SpongeBob running around alongside him, and I was able to get Towley from South Park.
That's very cute.
That's funny. Having Towley shoot next to me. Well, he doesn't
truly
shoot.
Just with the most stoned eyes you've ever seen. Those bloodshot eyes. I have a couple questions for you before we close out our discussion about, Fortnite and what it means to you. The first of which, Nick, is there any other details about the game, whether it be a mode, an aspect of the gameplay, or a time from your experience playing it that you wanted to bring up, like a memory?
The one little aspect time capsule I think is funny is Ryan was able to get the Cybertruck as a skin for his car.
Uh-huh.
And because of when it was introduced to the game, they put on the window the crack from when Elon broke the window while trying to demonstrate how it was bulletproof.
Oh, yes. That's so Fortnite put that in?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Gosh, I wish I had that Cybertruck.
Do they also have a feature where occasionally a player will just get locked in their Cybertruck as it's on fire?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it seems fair to make it realistic.
It's not pay to win, it's pay to lose.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there is a specific moment. The first time I saw Thanos fly up in the air with the Space Stone and slam back to the ground, it was pretty much the moment that sold me on the game, I think.
Yeah.
And also winning for the first time, a big deal. Winning with friends is one thing. Winning by yourself in a game with 100 other people, that's a really good feeling.
Big time.
To get to the end, which can take 20 or more minutes at times, and then be the last person and actually win a gunfight, that's great. I've had battles of attrition in the storm where all these battle royale games, for context, there's always something encroaching to make the map smaller, and if you stand inside it for too long, you get hurt. But there are games that will end where someone is under the map and another team is on top of the map on a mountain, and you're both in the storm, and you just have to try to survive as long as possible. And I've won games just drinking health potions, and the other team ran out and I won. That's really fun. And I had one with Jack just recently where it was a duos game. His internet went out and he disconnected. And now I'm a solo in all duos and I won.
Whoa.
And I've never done that before. It's so hard to win a 1v2 gunfight.
Yeah.
And pulling it off, proudest moment of my life.
I mean, you're not the COD Mander for nothing, right?
That's true. They don't have any Call of Duty skins. That's one place they haven't gone yet. I can't be Captain Price.
Dang. No Battlefield crossover either?
No. And to Battlefield's credit, I think they didn't dip into the skin game quite as much.
Yes.
Now, Call of Duty did, and I bought a few skins, but I quickly noticed there's a difference. So, Fortnite is very colorful, and it kind of has a cartoony vibe to it.
Yes.
So when you are a literal cartoon character like Homer Simpson, it doesn't stick out that much. You're kind of just another player in the game. But when I'm in a Call of Duty map and it looks like Afghanistan and it has a gray and brown color palette and all of the characters are gray and brown, and I walk in as Homelander from The Boys with the big American flag as my cape, I get shot way faster because everybody sees me.
My gosh.
So I like the skins in Fortnite more.
If anything, from what I've seen, the realistic characters that seem out of place, like your Michael Scotts.
It's true. It's very true.
They obviously are giving them a sort of Fortnite spin, the characters, which makes a lot of sense. But Nick, the last question that I have for you is to wrap up, your thoughts and feelings about this game. How would you do that? If you had to put a bow on the place that Fortnite holds for you in your life, go ahead and try to summarize that for me.
I think Fortnite is a game that lives in seasons. And you can take a season off and still come back for the next one excited and ready to go. I think that Fortnite, in a way, has been a constant for my friends over the past however many years. We come back to it on and off, but there's always something new. It's always reinventing itself in some way that I've been really impressed by. I think that Epic Games, they don't make all this money for nothing. They're always thinking about new ways to try something creative and different, and it brings me back, and I have to give it credit for that.
That's fantastic. Well, buddy, we got a couple of things to do before we go, but thank you so much for bringing this true titan of a game on to Call Me By Your Game and sharing about it. That was a lot of fun hearing from you.
Oh, what a blast. Thanks for having me.
You betcha. Well, let's get into our final two segments of today's episode, the first of which is the Fact Me By Your Game segment, and that's where I'm just going to share one fun fact with you about the game you've brought on today, Fortnite. Nick, I'm going to, in both the show notes and our chat here, you don't have to watch this now, but you should check it out later, drop a link to the Did You Know Gaming video about Fortnite. This is such an extensive look at the early days of the game. This basically chronicles the start and how this was actually originally something developed at a game jam at Epic Games. Were you aware of this?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so this came the idea was heavily iterated upon, but it was a game jam game originally. But in lieu of sharing a fact today, I'm just going to drop this video in for people to watch. It's about an 8-minute video. I put it in our chat as well. But at the very bottom of the show notes and episode citations, people should check it out because I bet there's plenty of people who are, like you, huge Fortnite heads who are not aware of the specific origins of it.
Yeah, you're blowing my mind already. I can't wait to check it out. Game jam, is that like an improv jam?
It's more like a 48-hour film festival. Oh, you're doing a bit. I looked up from you too late. If only it was like an improv jam. Well, I guess there's similarities. But so listener, you can find that in the show notes. Nick, I'll lead us into our last segment, the game recommendations. Now, you might remember that this is my one forced tie-in to the movie Call Me By Your Name, where I'm going to treat Fortnite as your passionate summer romantic fling that you had in Italy, your home country, of course, or country of ancestry. You're from the United States. But I'm going to treat that game like sort of your Army Hammer. The game that you had a meaningful moment with that is going to eventually break your heart and you are no longer with. But in order to help you get over this heartbreak, Nick, I have 3 potential new flings to introduce you to, and they all have a little something in common with the game that you fell so deeply in love with. Most importantly, though, I need to know, are you ready to get back out there?
Gosh, this is a big blow, obviously, and I really thought I meant something to Fortnite, but I'm ready.
Oh my God, it sounds like I'm delivering the news.
Yeah, I didn't know until now.
Oh no.
Yikes. But yes, no, I'm ready.
Wonderful. I have 3 potential new flings for you today. The first of which is if you are looking for another free-to-play shooter, I'm going to bring up a game that you brought up in your first episode.
What?
I wouldn't have known unless I listened to it. That's Apex Legends.
Oh.
Also,
brought it up once, never played it.
Yeah, also a bit of a battle royale with a sort of circle that is that is a perimeter that's closing in on the players. I actually have played this game. I dipped into this a couple years ago. A friend of the show, Heather Woodward, used to work at Respawn on Apex before she was laid off from there. And actually now I believe she works at Infinity Ward. Funny enough, talking to the CoD King here. But Apex, dude, I thought it was an awesome free-to-play shooter that you can also put money into, but I must have played it for like, I don't know, multiple sessions of a couple hours each.
Wow. Well, I'm definitely intrigued. Also, kind of interesting that this came up. The creator, Vince Zampella, passed away at the end of last year. He was one of the Infinity Ward guys who went on to create Respawn when they split off from Call of Duty. But he was a really influential AAA game developer.
That's right.
To me, I'm sure other people, but RIP.
I remember when that happened because it was it was being shared all over Blue Sky. Yeah, rest in peace. But Nick, your first recommendation, Apex Legends. The second recommendation that I have for you, it's kind of worked out well in my favor. You know, you never engaged with Peter Griffin in Fortnite. And if that's the big empty hole in your heart, you have a Peter Griffin-sized hole, I'm going to recommend Family Guy the Game, a 2006 video game released for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox, maybe other platforms. Nick, do you know about this game at all?
The only thing I know about it is I do remember... I don't think I played it. I think I watched someone play a demo at a GameStop. And I liked the look of it.
You know, it looks interesting. I think it's a pretty average game, but worth checking out from a curiosity perspective.
It's piqued my curiosity for sure. Family Guy, by the way, one of those things that I kind of like didn't like, and then I sort of started to like ironically, and then it sort of became unironic at a certain point. I'm not sure when.
But it's like when you start imitating someone so long that you just start becoming them almost.
It is, yeah.
Similar thing.
You know what? It reminds me of another friend Fortnite memory when we would get on Discord. They made it at one point so you could add custom sound bites to Discord, and we would often play the Cleveland Show theme song for each other.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh.
Banger, that theme.
What a bop. Nick, I was going to say that this Family Guy's been coming up a lot on the network. We're doing a new series, actually, that you aren't aware of called Games Club Plus, where after every other recording, we stay on for another hour and record not a Games Club episode, but just like unrelated conversation. It's really just us hanging out. And we talked a lot about Family Guy in the last episode. And I learned there's like 20 Family Guy games that have existed. So this is just one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, too many, and several mobile like trash heaps. But I have one more recommendation for you.
Okay.
It came up earlier, I think because I spurred it on, but you brought it up as well. Is if Fortnite didn't fill the Ready Player One fantasy for you, and that's all you want, I'll recommend a game called Open, the Ready Player One Battle Royale. Nick, this game never came out.
That explains why I've never heard of it before.
It was teased in 2024. In fact, is this the trailer that I have linked here?
That recently?
Yes. Yeah, very recently. It was supposed to come out in 2025. If you go to there's like a website that they made for the game. If you go to the website, it takes you to a dead end now. There is nothing there.
That's
so what I'm saying is your Fortnite fantasy ain't gonna happen.
Wow, so this is a recommendation for something I can no longer play or even watch.
Yeah, this is the cruelest thing I've ever done.
Connor, you're sick. You're one twisted puppy.
After 275 episodes, which this is no episode 275, I've gone freaking crazy. Nick, to recap your recommendations, we have Apex Legends, Family Guy the Game, and Open, the Ready Player One Battle Royale, which was never released. That'll do it for that segment, and that'll bring us to the end of the show. So once again, Nick, before we plug and get out of here. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This was so much fun to chat with you about Fortnite and just have an excuse to catch up. So thanks for doing it, man.
Oh, what a blast. I love gabbing with you, Connor.
It's the best. We're going to have to find another excuse this year, whether we do actually play Gen 3 of Pokemon or do some other game on a co-op episode, and get you back on the Games Club. Nick, you plugged some stuff earlier. I believe it was your social media. Do you want to plug that again and your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube, X. Well, I'm still on that thing.
I'm not on
leaving.
X.
It's like Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not effing leaving. Most socials, Instagram too. You can find me at Nick Costanza or Kick No Stanza. Occasionally I'm on there. I still, like I said, I'm in my training arc, so I don't have quite my next thing, but you're welcome to follow me. I welcome it, and I'll chat with freaking anybody, anytime. And I guess this is my real big plug. Listen to Super NPC Radio on Patreon. There's so much content out there for you to enjoy.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for plugging. Yeah, there is a ton of stuff. We have a feature now where the formerly known as $1 tier is actually a $2 tier now. And basically every bonus episode we ever did from January, basically the beginning of 2025 and before, is on there. So subscribe for $2 a month. You can vote in our Nick's Games Club election. You get access to the Discord and over 300 bonus episodes, including every Bonk Boys that Nick ever did. Every co-op from that time and before, every Games Club. But speaking of plugs, you can find everything Nick plugged and all this stuff in below, you know what I'm saying, in a link below, including the cover art, which is done by Glenn J. You can find the wonderful work he does over on his Instagram page, which is in the show notes. Jeremy Schmidt is the producer. He also edits and does the original music for this podcast. You can follow me, Connor McCabe, on Blue Sky and Instagram if you want. You can also follow the show on Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube. There's a whole video version of this podcast that you may not be aware of. So go over to YouTube, give us a subscribe, and check out all of the handsome guests we have, including ours from today. And lastly, check us out at Super NPC Radio. Like Nick was saying, there's a link to our Patreon. You can join again at the free tier, even if you just want the occasional rare bonus and to hop in the Discord, or if you want to support us and get bonus video game podcasts for that, including our current Fire Emblem Awakening Games Club, you can do that as well. Check out all the links in the show notes. That'll do it for another episode of Call Me By Your Game. We will see you on the next one.